Hey everyone, welcome back to the Movie Studio. And today we're going to be talking about the first three Wings of Fire books, the Dragonette Prophecy, The Lost Here, and The Hidden Kingdom. So I am joined by my dad, Paul Dazet. Thank you for coming on this video with me.
Hey, excited to talk about these great books.
Yeah, it's a really great series. We really recommend you check it out. Before we get into the Wings of Fire content, I just wanted to say if you can please also go and subscribe down below. I really appreciate it. I'm trying to reach a goal of hitting 200 subscribers before the end of 2020. I think this goal is possible. Please all go and subscribe down below. So now we're going to be talking about Wings of Fire. So we're going to be kind of discussing how we got into the book, when we got into the book, and why we got into the book. So do you want to explain this?
Yeah, absolutely. We were searching for a series to read together, and I'm a big science fiction fantasy guy, so I love dragons, and I was hoping that me and Micah could read a book series together. And we were at Costco when we saw this book set, and it looked cool. And so we gave it a shot, and we read the first book, and it was good. So we went ahead and bought the whole set, and we're kind of working through them. We read the first three, and excited to get into number 4. So it's really good. It's about young dragons, and it's pretty fun.
Yeah, it was really fun to get into. I think that the dragon theme I love. I like to see the interactions between them, because really it's a lot about the interactions between different characters. So what did you think of the Dragonette Prophecy, the first book overall?
Well, this book is great because it sets up all of them. It is about a prophecy. There is a sacred writing that says that there will be a group of dragons that will come and end the war. And so our main characters are that group of dragons. So it's about fulfilling the prophecy.
Yeah. So we're gonna kind of go back and forth between the characters. So the main 5 characters. So the first one's Clay. Clay is a little bit I don't know, definitely a little bit clueless at times, but he is the main character. I think that he definitely has some heart to him. And I think that he does a good job of being kind of clueless, but also pretty brave during times. And he's always willing to help his friends out when needed. So why don't you talk about Tsunami a little bit?
Well, there is different races or types of dragons. Clay is a mudwing. And so he is all about the mud, the earth, that kind of stuff. And Tsunami is, what is it, sea wing, and she is all about the water, right? And she is kind of boisterous, kind of bold, pushy. Yeah, Clay is kind of clueless, and she's kind of that. And how about the next one, Micah?
Well, we have Glory, and I like Glory. She's my favorite female character out of them. I think that Glory is a Rainwing. She's bold. I think that she's sarcastic. She's likes to sleep a lot, but overall is a fun character, and we like to see her in the books. So yeah, and you could talk about your favorite one, Starflight.
My favorite character is Starflight. What kind of dragon is he?
He is a Nightwing.
A Nightwing, and he's kind of studious, intellectual. You know, I like him. And then the last one is Sunny.
Sunny is a Sandwing. She is the smallest one in the pack, but overall, I like her character as well. She's like chippy, I guess is hard to say it. She is like quiet, but she's always a lot of fun to have in the group. We haven't gotten to her book yet, but those are the 5 of them. I gotta say my favorites are Glory and Starflight. And we'll talk about like our final thoughts and each of them at the end. But so it kind of starts out with Clay, and the main thing in this first book is his friendship with Tsunami. So what do you think of the whole Clay almost killed Tsunami in the egg, and Kestrel has been bothering him about it ever since? What do you think of that?
It's just crazy. I mean, there's a lot of the sense of humor, and it's really funny. They pick on each other. It's a lot of, I would say, junior high type humor. Wouldn't you agree? Since you're in junior high, but they play around each other. And Kestrel is kind of an adult character, and she's kind of mean and bossy, and she's kind of controlling the 5 dragons that are a part of the prophecy.
I do think that it's interesting because Clay and Tsunami's friendship is one of the biggest like relationships in Dragon dramas. So what do you think of Clay and Tsunami's friendship?
It's cool. It's fun. What do you think?
Well, I mean, they definitely seem like they've been best friends since they're born. Obviously, Clay almost killed Tsunami while she was in the egg. We don't really know much about that in the book. I've elaborate on it and something I'll talk about in a bit. But I don't know. That was interesting, but I think that Clint and I do have a good friendship. I like how it's explored. Really quick before we get into the main theme in this book, I wanted to talk. We wanted to talk about some funny phrases that happened in the first book. There are some funny phrases in the books to follow, but this is really the humorous book. So the first one is "Sorry, I whacked you," and this is our favorite phrase. Why do we think this is funny so much?
Well, so if I remember correctly, and it's been a while since we read it, so correct me, my memory's kind of shot. But Tsunami whacks Clay as they're leaving the cave, right?
Mm-hmm.
And almost kills Clay, right?
It's interesting because, just like you said, Tsunami whacked Clay into a tree, and I don't know. I think that their friendship is based on loyalty, but it's also based on messing around, definitely. And it's examples like this: Clay almost killed Tsunami while she was in the egg. Tsunami almost killed Clay by whacking him into a tree. But this was a lot of fun. It was always stuck in our heads. I think it's just funny because
Sorry, I whacked you.
it's a good sense of humor, and I think that that's what this first book is really good at. We have, I'm not sure exactly how we said it. We were like, ow, hey, quit that.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yikes.
All the pigeons talk about is pooping on people. That was a good one. Well, hello.
Well,
there.
hello
That's
there.
by Queen Scarlet. That's a classic line.
Well, since you're speaking of Queen Scarlet, why don't you tell everybody who she is?
Well, I have it on here.
Yep.
I'll just go ahead and explain her. So Queen Scarlet is the queen of the Skywings, I'm pretty sure. She's very brave, and unfortunately, we don't get to see much of her. We're not sure because by the end of the first book, she's kind of MIA, so we're not sure if she's alive or not. But I think that she's a good character. She killed Dune, and Dune is one of the three main leaders. So Queen Scarlet kind of started off as bad, but we just get to see her as like a, I don't know, kind of like bossy, but overall a entertaining character to watch. What do you think of Queen Scarlet?
Yeah, she's kind of a mean boss lady. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're like hilarious, adorable,
Hilarious.
somebody bite somebody.
I don't remember all these. These are crazy.
Boring.
Boring.
Dismissed. Thrilling. You're a handsome idiot.
It's interesting. We listened to the audiobook and we read along. So having the narrator was really good, really accented these lines, and they were really funny the way the narrator spoke.
Mm-hmm. And Tsunami said to Clay, "You're a handsome idiot," and all these are funny. I think that "Sorry I Whacked You" is the best line out of all of them, though.
Absolutely.
I think it's kind of cool that we collect all of these because we were like, we'll probably do a podcast on this. You never know. So I'm glad that we kept these so we can read off of it. So we're gonna talk about Clay meets Peril, and this is the main storyline of this book. So what do you think of Peril as a character and her relationship with Clay?
Well, to be honest with you, let me ask you that question because I don't remember that part of the book. So
Peril is like, she has some talents that I think that she's afraid to show people in the world because she has some amazing talents. I think that pairing her up with Clay, Peril's kind of shy, and Clay's a little bit shy too, but not like as shy as like Starflight, for instance. He's a little more outgoing, but he's not completely that outgoing. So I think that pairing them up together is interesting because Clay is like I said, he's loyal to his friends. So pairing him up with Peril, I think, is a good thing because he is able to help her out with being able to show her talents and stand up for her in this thing. And I think that Clay and Peril is one of the romantic relationships in this series. There's like a one for each character. So I think that it's cool to see them together, and I think they have some good chemistry. They're good friends. And I don't know, I think I really like seeing their friendship.
Sweet. So why don't you give your overall thoughts and grade on this book?
Well, this book is awesome. I think it's a great introduction. However, I would say that we'll get to the second book, but this felt a little bit, I don't know, I think that the reason why I'm not a huge fan of it is because it started out slow, where the other books, they start out immediately quick. So because this is a little bit slower, I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but it was still, it introduced the characters. You got to think of, you got to remember that. So I really enjoyed it. I would give it a solid A. I really did enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. So what grade would you give it?
I also give it an A. I thought it was a great start. Gives the kind of the setting, and it gives you the kind of the overall arc of this group of characters. So
Yes.
I gave it a solid A. All right. Second book is The Lost Heir. And why don't you tell us a little bit, an overview of this book, The Lost Heir?
So you can call it, I sometimes call it The Lost Heir. It's technically Heir, but you can call it whatever you want. Second book. This is about Tsunami the Sea Wing. And Tsunami, I think that, like we said, she's bossy and she's a little bit ferocious. So I think that it's cool to see Tsunami in here. We get to see more of her family, which I think I like the family aspect. I think that's what we didn't get to see in Clay's.
No, you're
was
right.
family. And so Tsunami, it's family. And pretty much we're gonna start with diving into it. So it starts out pretty quick. It starts out with Tsunami killing a dragonette in the sea. Maybe not a dragonette, but a dragon in the sea. Calls them the young dragons to get mad at her. So I'm not sure if you remember this that much, but it kind of sets up the theme for the story. I think that Tsunami is such an interesting character. It does cause people to like turn away from her. You get that. So I think that they did a good job with making Tsunami a little bit unlikable, but then you can also see her point of view. It also shows that Tsunami's personality, that her friends sometimes aren't big fans of her. So they pretty much they meet Riptide, and pretty much Riptide needs help going to I'm not sure they need help going to a certain place, and it is where Queen Coral lives, and Queen Coral is Tsunami's mom. There's also an enemy who has a very small role, but she is Tsunami's sister. Pretty much a big theme in this is the relationship between Tsunami and Queen Coral. What do you think of that relationship between Tsunami and Queen Coral?
Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth. Tsunami wants to please her mom and her sister, get that approval. And so that's a lot of that dynamics is getting that approval from mom.
And I think it's also you gotta show some trust because Tsunami kind of came in out of nowhere. Queen Coral doesn't really know her, so in doing this, I think is really cool. So I also it is revealed that Tsunami killed her father, Gale, in the fighting arena from last season. So what do you think of this big reveal? It's small, but I played it even more in my story.
Yeah. I think it's a powerful reveal. And the consequences to it, that I think will continue to provide some guilt in the future for the characters.
Yeah, I think that they have these things, and then although it wasn't exactly revealed, the only person who knows, I think, is Queen Blister, because she almost reveals it to Queen Coral that Tsunami killed Gil, and I think that I don't know, it shows that like it shows that like under different circumstances, although you don't know if that person is your father, you need to probably think a little bit because she went right in to kill Gil.
Well, she didn't really have much choice.
She didn't have much choice.
She was a fight to the death, and
yeah, it's just weird when you think about it, like killing your own father, even though you didn't know it. The aftermath of it just feels a little bit wrong, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you think of Riptide as a character?
I don't really remember too much about Riptide. How about you? What do you think?
Well, Riptide is a lot like Deathbringer, who's introduced in the next book. He's a little bit sketchy, but we don't really know much about him. But Riptide, he seems nice, and he seems like he would be a good friend for Tsunami. This is another one of the romantic relationships in the book. So I think that I like the dynamic with Riptide. I think it's interesting. And then we already talked about the mom, Queen Coral, and the sister Anemone. We don't know much about Anemone, but Queen Coral I think is pretty cool. So I really like her dynamic. in this book. So Kestrel is revealed that Kestrel dies in this book. And so far, Kestrel and Juna Bookdye Webbs is the only living one out of the three ones. I know that this wasn't huge because it was like mentioned and then they really didn't do anything else with it, but I thought it was pretty big having I thought it was pretty big having Kestrel like now dead and like they only have webs now and like they're not in the Talons of Peace anymore in this book. They're more separate. They're in I'm not sure but Queen Coral's town. So I don't know. I think that I like this book better than the first book because it shows a family aspect in it. And I think that Tsunami is a good character. So I would give this book an A+. What would you give this book?
I also agree. I like this book better than the first one. I give it an A+.
Mm-hmm. And I also think that Tsunami, I think she can be good and bad. I think in this book she was particularly good, even though her friends maybe didn't see it as well. So I really like the second book. Third book, we have The Hidden Kingdom, and this is all about Glory.
This is about Glory, and Glory is
A Rainwing.
A Rainwing. And so the setting of this book is in Glory's hometown, right?
Yes.
And she goes to find her family.
So, yeah, you can talk about a couple of these points.
So she meets her half-brother named Jambu,
mm-hmm.
and he's a pretty cool character. And we learn a little bit about the Rainwings is they're kind of sleepy, kind of lazy. They don't put a lot of work into what they do. And that's kind of just part of their culture. So Jambu is a cool character. Again, he seems kind of like clueless in a way, right?
Yeah. Jock, I would say.
Yeah. And so there is the queens of the Rainwings don't really want to be queen. They're doing it, but they don't really want to do
it for show.
Right. They don't want to do the work that's required. And the queens don't really want to protect their own people. And so Glory wants to be queen. So tell us about that part.
Well, I think that it shows strong points for Glory's character. You can only compare it to Tsunami in this case because Glory and Tsunami are definitely bolder than Sunny. Tsunami, I think, while she puts her friends first, she also thinks of herself a little bit more than Glory does. Glory is definitely, she wants to help the people, and I think that she's not afraid to step down. She doesn't have any regrets, and you can tell that she'll be a good queen. And Maleficent, I think it's Maleficent. I'm not sure. It's either one of those two. She is it's like their backup. Not their backup. They're like the person they're going against to be queen. And we get to see Glory meet a lot of new people along the way. We got to see a lot of new characters in this book, and I think that it helped Glory win the throne. And Glory, it was really happy when Glory won the throne. We had a scavenger hunt in there where they had to camouflage, they had to look for different things, and I don't know, I really did enjoy it. And Glory is my favorite female character out of the three. So, what do you think of what do you think of Deathbringer? And I know you probably don't remember much about him, but
Deathbringer is the bad guy in this, and you definitely sense that he's up to no good. I don't remember too much about it.
Deathbringer is definitely the bad guy, and if you look at like Riptide in this book, Riptide seems sketchy, but I don't think he's necessarily the bad guy. Deathbringer definitely seems like the bad guy. This is one of the romantic relationships I think they're setting up with Glory and Deathbringer. So I don't know what we're kind of expecting here with Deathbringer, but he definitely seems fishy, and it'll be interesting to see what he's up to in future books. So what is your grade of this book overall?
I like this one. I give it an A. I didn't like it as much as the last one, but I still thought it was very good. How about you?
I give it an A. And I don't think it has to do with the characters. I think it just has to do with the story. Here, there's family aspect, but then again, it feels a little bit out of place, maybe because it's a kid and a kid. They don't really know how to act each other. They just found out they were siblings. You get that?
Right.
So I think that, I don't know. I think that was a really good, I think they're all very good books, but the second one is my ultimate favorite. I love it. So we're going to talk about the fourth book, and we haven't read this yet, but The Dark Seeker. This is all about Starflight. I know that you're going to be really excited about it because Starflight's my favorite character. So it's going to be a story with Starflight and the Nightwings. And I I'm really excited to read this one. I'm sure we'll have a review out hopefully by December.
We have
Hopefully,
to read the book
we have to read the
first.
book. And right now we're reading Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. So that's before Wings of Fire book 4, but so, well, you'll have to stay tuned for that. Before I end off this podcast, I just want to say I have a story called Dragon Drama. You can check out the wiki page. I'll find the link below. Dragon Drama is a separate story at Wings of Fire. It's more how to say it? It's more drama based, as you can see in the title. But I think that it also has some good stories I write in it. It takes the characters on to a different approach as far as relationship businesses, and it's definitely more of like a drama than like this type of thing. But
It really doesn't have too much to do with dragons. It really
yeah,
more like junior high kids, right?
but it has some connections to here.
Yes,
It
absolutely.
has,
Same names and
and
stuff.
it's like family. I think that I do a good job with like family dynamics. I do a good job with the relationships between the characters. For example, Clay and Tsunami's friendship, and other things like Starlight and Sunny. I think I do a good job with doing that. And again, it'll be in the wiki page down below. I'm working on the website right now, getting it all set up. Hopefully, it'll be done in a couple weeks. I am presenting season 4 right now to my parents and my cousins, and that is a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
So, anyways, that is our review of Wings of Fire books 1, 2, and 3. I did one video on this where I unboxed the book set. You can go check that out. That is in my book reviews playlist. I want to thank everyone for watching this video. Thank you for joining me for this video. This was a lot of fun. I love Wings of Fire. So stay tuned for our review of book 4, hopefully coming out by the end of this year. And bye, guys.
See you.